Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's me, Psychic Charm, and today I'm going to be talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves and San Antonio Spurs. Game 1. So we'll go ahead and get started, and wow, what a game. I mean, that was one of the best games of the postseason. That's up there with Game 4 in Denver. Game 7 in Boston was really good. Probably blanking on a couple others, but I mean, this has been a really great playoffs to watch as a fan. This game was incredible to watch, start to finish. First of all, Anthony Edwards, in less than like 24 hours or something like that, decided he was going to play on a hyperextended knee. I was so surprised. I was like, Anthony Edwards is coming back? To his credit, he played all right. He played really well in the fourth quarter, but I'm so glad he came back because the Wolves really needed him in this game, and especially his shot creation and ability to get downhill. Julius Randle, though, really played like their best player overall, especially in the fourth quarter once Stephon Castle fouled out. Castle got 6 fouls, I think, with maybe 4 or 3 minutes left, somewhere around that late in the fourth. And after that, Julius Randle just started cooking because they didn't have a single body they could put on him. Mike Conley as well just stepped up, hit 4 threes. I was all for it. He went 4 for 7 from 3. I didn't think Mike Conley would be playing real minutes in the playoffs. I'm glad that he stepped up and could contribute in a big way like that because that was also really nice to see. Terrence Shannon Jr. didn't really shoot the ball particularly well. It really felt like the Wolves needed his presence of getting downhill to really get their offense going. Even though he was inefficient, he really did contribute in that way, and he's just been a playoff X factor. He was last year. I remember against, I think it was the Thunder he was playing well against, and then he's just not really played at all much in the regular season. But he's a good player. I don't know why Chris Finch doesn't play him more. Other than that, everyone else really played well for the Wolves, except Bones Highland. He shot 0 of 6, but he might be the X factor in game 2 or 3 or something because he can be very hot or cold. But the Wolves, they played a great game, and they really played a great defensive game on the Spurs. I'm going to go to the Spurs now because another thing happened with Wemby getting 12 blocks. Now, watching the game in real time, I watched a couple and I was like, is that a goaltend? And then I woke up this morning and looked at social media, and I wasn't the only one thinking that. Because there was a couple, I was like, I swear that hit the backboard, or like, there was one I think Naz Reid shot, and I swear that it was like on its way down. I swear it was like a floater or something. I swear it was on its way down. They counted it as a block. So I'm not trying to take away from Wemby. There was like at least 3 goaltends or something like that. It was more than once, at least when I was watching. That needs to be officiated a little better because that's obviously wiping off a couple of points and giving the Spurs an advantage there if he can get away with that. Wemby didn't shoot the ball well, though, despite that. I mean, his defense was great. He didn't really shoot the ball well, shot 5 of 17 from the field, and that's really what hurt the Spurs in the end. And if they can keep playing defense like that on him, then that's going to really change the series. Julian Champagnie-Vassell and even Castle shot the ball well from 3. Those guys, Champagnie and Vassell, are bona fide shooters. Castle being able to do that's huge. If he can keep doing that, that's going to be a guy that the Wolves dare to shoot because he doesn't shoot good percentages on the season. Fox and Wemby combined for 0 of 12 from 3, and that really did hurt them as well because the Spurs and Wolves hit the exact same number of threes. They hit 10 apiece. The Spurs attempted 10 more. Them just not being able to throw a rock in the ocean is really just playing into Minnesota playing off those guys. The last thing I'm going to say about the Spurs just kind of individually here is that Dylan Harper as well as another guy that just looked really good. He did a great job just leaking out and scoring in the fast break, and it's just footwork under the basket and everything. I mean, he had a great game, and he is another guy that could be an X factor for them. He didn't shoot the ball well from 3, and that's going to be another guy they keep testing. I mean, the Spurs, even though they lost, you can't be too mad at that. Wemby, first of all, really looked like he was having trouble scoring against the Wolves. A lot of that really is like the Wolves just daring certain guys to shoot and them playing off certain guys. And granted, the defense collapses a lot when certain guys drive. Like Fox feels like anytime like him or Wemby, either of them have a lane, like the defense just collapses. Some of that's good because that resulted in Champagnie and Vassell shooting really well from 3. Other guys like Wemby or Fox or Harper, those guys aren't really going to be reliable 3-point shooters. And that's going to play into the Wolves because the Spurs aren't a great 3-point shooting team. They only have, I would say, 2 guys where I'm like, that guy is a shooter, and then the other guys, like, it's just day by day. You could have a good shooting game or not, the Wolves are going to dare those guys and see if they can have them make shots. I didn't see a whole lot of Carter Bryant in this game either as a Spurs rotation player. Random pull right there. That's another guy, if they play him, they're just going to, again, they're going to dare him to shoot. I don't know if Ant is 100%. Hopefully he will be back to being 100%, but I doubt it, to be honest. He was really good in the fourth quarter, and I just worry about him the rest of the series being healthy and whatnot, and potentially getting re-injured or something, or making this worse, because the Wolves, they've had a great run, and we say that every year because the Wolves have just had great runs the last 3 years now. He's their best player, and if anything happens to them, I don't think they could win this series. And the Spurs, I think, are a more legit team versus the Nuggets, so if you do have him go out, I don't think Jaden McDaniels and Randall are going to hold it down for you like last series. Another guy that's hurt is Ayo Dosunmu, and I tried to look into if he's coming back soon. I couldn't find anything on that. Hopefully he'll be back soon, because that just screws up their guard rotation in Minnesota. He has been really big for them in the playoffs. He had that 43-point game in Game 4 against the Nuggets, and he could be really big in this series versus the Spurs. And he's a really good three-point shooter as well, which also sucks that they don't have Dante DiVincenzo. The Spurs really outscored the Wolves on fast break points. They scored 27 fast break points, which is a lot. And a lot of that really was Wemby's defensive playmaking. Whether some of those were goaltends or not, it's just, that happens in the game. They executed that well. That was really, the Spurs just felt like they were just getting out in transition a lot more, and the Wolves, they really put a lot of pressure on their defense and their defense getting set, because once the Wolves defense got set, the Spurs had a lot more trouble trying to score on them. That's why the Wolves won ultimately, because in the half court, the Spurs couldn't really get much going, especially their main guy in Wemby couldn't really get much going versus them. The main thing that the Wolves are going to do is that they're going to dare these guys to shoot. I'm confident that Champagnie and Devin Vassell are going to be consistent on that end, though that it's not impossible that they won't have bad shooting games. At the end of the game was really absolute cinema, because Ant turned the ball over and the Spurs made it a 2-point game. And then at that point, I was a little bit nervous. It felt like the Wolves, despite being down at several points in this game, they were up in the fourth quarter, but a lot of the game, it really felt like they were in control for the most part. The Spurs were really battling, but the Wolves just maintained and just kept fighting. I mean, this team is just a bunch of fighters, man. Ant had that turnover. He said he wasn't too happy about it. And, he's just a great leader, because he has these guys. I mean, a team takes on the identity of their leader. And when you have a leader like Ant, I really think that goes a long ways, because you got guys like Terrence Shannon and Jaden McDaniels just walking with a pep in their step. And that makes them play different, and you need an identity like that to beat a really good team like the Spurs. Champagnie had an opportunity to hit a above the break three to win the game. He was very close, but unfortunately didn't land. I don't think that they needed a timeout in that situation. I think you got a good shot and whatnot, and evidently you got most of your offense through playing fast. Game ones are really important in determining who's going to win a series, and I believe the stat is 70% of the time a team wins game one, they take the series. I don't know how I feel about this series, because both of these are really good teams, and I hate betting against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I still feel like the Spurs would win, but I also felt like the Nuggets would win too. The Spurs just haven't been there at all, and people kind of forget that the Spurs, their core, Wemby, Castle, Harper, these guys haven't been to the playoffs, and De'Aaron Fox has only been there once. Playing the Wolves, who seem to match your play right now, at least in game one, I mean, they've been there. They're going to be a tough out, man. It's not going to be easy. I mean, I think the Spurs could win this in 6 games. If it's Spurs in 7, you get to game 7, who do you trust more? Anthony Edwards or Wemby? I mean, Anthony Edwards came out in one leg and was clutch in the fourth quarter, and Wemby really struggled. So I don't know. We're going to have to see through the rest of this series, because Wemby is a great player. He's top 3 player in the world at this point. Just a great game. I'm glad we got a series like this, because the Nuggets would have stunk it up and probably lost by 40 in this game 1 to the Spurs. So thank y'all for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, do all that usual YouTube stuff. And as always, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out.